So much for countdown timers working the way they're supposed to. Hey everybody, welcome to Engage Insights. My name is Aaron Beatty. I'm your host, and we are here today to talk about our series. And our series is about mastering digital engagement with Salesforce. And today, I wanted to take some time to walk through a few things with you all on how to go about doing some personalization in Salesforce Marketing Cloud. Frankly, personalization is one of the powerhouse tools of the Salesforce Marketing Cloud suite. And this is personalization within, specifically today, we're going to be talking about Salesforce Marketing Cloud engagement. So what used to be Exact Target or Marketing Cloud, we're going to talk about that. And I just think it's underutilized and incredibly powerful with what you can do. So we're just kind of step through it today. What I'd like to cover is a basic substitution string and how that works, and talk a little bit about the mechanisms behind the scenes, kind of what the computer is thinking when you do different things. We'll talk about a few different ways to kind of manipulate or work with some of that data, and some of the resources that are out there that you can use as you build your own content. And then we'll talk about some more higher level stuff, like we'll talk about dynamic content that might utilize images or things like that. There's a built-in capability to do that in the tool within the UI, and then there also is a language called AmpScript that can help you to do what you need to do within the tool as well. So we're going to touch on all of that today. Might actually go a little bit past the 30-minute mark. So let's dig in. So first of all, let me switch over to my next screen here so that you all can see what I see here. And so what we have here is your standard Salesforce Marketing Cloud setup. And so last time we talked about how to build emails and work with content in Email Studio. And so we're going to continue on with that same email that we built last time. And so here it is, just a very simple email that we've built using the editors in here with our little genie bunny there. And so we'll hop in here into content and give you an idea. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is how to do just a basic substitution string. And so what we have here is a %%, the field name, and then %%. And so the way this works is if you are sending to a data extension, then this tells Salesforce Marketing Cloud to look at your sending data extension and to look for a field name that matches, in this case, the word first name. It is not case sensitive, so you could put all lowercase in here and it would still work regardless of how it's actually capitalized within the actual field name. So as long as the letters match, you're good to go. And what it will do is it will first check the data extension for a field that matches. And if it does, then the row that it's sending to, it will match that data in that row. So in my case, I have built out a data extension. And by the way, here's a fun little shortcut that I use. So if I don't want to lose my place here in Marketing Cloud, then I can come up here, we'll start a new tab, and I'll just do mc.exacttarget.com. And since I'm already logged into my account within this browser, then it just pops up a new standard Marketing Cloud preview here of the site. And so I still have my safe spot here, and I can do whatever I need there, but now I've got a new tab in the same instance. Now, if you do want to have a separate instance, then that's where you'd have to have maybe a separate profile in Chrome, or maybe a different browser altogether, like Firefox. Actually, Microsoft's new Edge browser works pretty well too. Sometimes you can get away with using Safari, and as much as I love Safari, it's hasn't been terribly reliable for me, and that's coming from a huge Apple guy. But anyway, let's get back to what we're talking about here. So we're talking about these substitution strings, these personalization strings, and how they appear within your email. So I'm going to hop back over here, and there's actually something else we can do just real quick so that you have an idea of how it works. Kind of the old school and the standard perhaps way of getting into a data extension is what I just did. You go into your email studio, and then when that loads up, you go into subscribers and data extensions. They're all listed right here. You can create as many folders as you'd like. And I, earlier today, created this, what I'm calling a test list. It's actually a data extension though. And so it's set up right now so that the subscriber key relates to subscribers on the subscriber key. And so the subscriber key is just a field that contains a string value. It can be anything that the system recognizes, and that's your key that it's utilizing here. And then we've got email address, because we have to have email address in order to do a send. It is a data type of email address. You can see here, primary key is our subscriber key, because we don't want more than one subscriber key in our data extension for this demo. And then we've got first name here. And so you can see first name is a text field with 50 characters, and it's nullable. And if I go to records here, you can see I've set the subscriber key up with the number 1. It's actually a string of 1, and then email, there it is, and then first name is Aaron. And so now if I go back to this email, and I haven't really told this where this lives, and frankly it doesn't care. It's going to check the data extension to see what's there, and then it will display it. So when I come in here and I choose my data extension and go to test list, there's my single row that exists there. So I'm going to select that single row, and then this select button is hiding over here in the corner. And now you can see these are the values that live in that data extension. You can see first name is Aaron, and then over here it says, hello, Aaron. And I made it bold just to make it more of that Publishers Clearinghouse style of email, where you can tell really easily what is being personalized here. So we have hello Aaron. Now let's imagine, we'll go back here into the content. Let's imagine that we want to add in a new row just to try out a different personalization for the first name and make sure it's working the way we expect. Now what I was going to get at earlier is that there's 2 different ways to get into data extensions. So this is kind of the old school, the original, the perhaps exact target way to do it. And so we can see here, I don't have any ability to edit this row of data, nor do I have the ability to easily just add a new row. I would need to import a new delimited file that could be a CSV or something like that with the data in it that I want to import. And that certainly is an option. And it's not terribly annoying to do that. In fact, a relatively easy way to do it would be to export this file as a delimited file, add whatever rows I want to add, or perhaps make any changes, and then import it back in. So that is one way to do it. But another way to do it that's going to be a little bit easier for me in this case is to hop over into the contact builder. And within the contact builder, I actually have a second way to get into data extensions. And there's actually different functionality in this view, which is what it is. It does not make sense, but that's the way it works. So we'll hop over here into the contact builder, and I will vamp here for a second while it loads. And if it doesn't load, we will reload this. That's about all the patience I have, so I'm going to reload it. There we go. And so now up here at the top, you see we have data extensions as one of our options. So I'm going to hit that button. New and updated data extensions. You can manage everything right here. Fabulous. Let's not see that again. So here is that same data extension. And you can see here, there's a few more buttons and things on the screen. It's similar, but not exactly the same. But the really interesting thing is over here. So because I have set this up with a primary key, I have the ability to select individual records where I can then edit these records. So I can edit it right here in the screen as much as I want to. Or if I uncheck that, now I can come over here and add a new record. So let's create subscriber number 2, which because the subscriber key is not the email address, I can put the same email address in here as well, except this time, let's say that my first name is Teddy. because that's my dog's first name, and my dog is laying here on the floor next to me. So that's what we're going to use. So now we have 2 subscribers in here, and now I can hop back over here and let's test this again. And so it knows I want to use the same data extension that I used last time, and we're on the first record, which is Aaron. But I can hit the little arrow button here, and now we can go to the second record where the first name is Teddy, and there it is. Now we can see Teddy. Now, if I weren't sending to a data extension, then it would be looking in my subscriber attributes that are tied to a list for this value. So it first looks to the sending data extension, if that's a thing, and if it doesn't see it there, then it looks for the attribute that lives as part of your list that you've created. So there it is. We got those 2 options there. So you can see that's pretty straightforward. Now, what happens if the first name data is, I don't know, maybe it's all caps. So let's hop back over here and let's edit Aaron here, and let's make it Aaron. Shout out to fans of Key and Peele. All right, and now we'll come back here and let's see if this is a real time. So it's kind of cached the data that was there before. I think I saved that, didn't I? I did. Okay, so we'll come back into content, and then we'll hop back over here to preview and test again. Now it's reloading the stuff that was cached, and there it is. Now it's all caps. So now hello Aaron here is in all caps. Now, if our data is all different ways, or if we don't want to shout at our customers, then at this point we might want to use a proper case function in order to make sure that that for a first name it's doing what we want it to do. And so I can come back here into the content, and we'll select this first name, and now we'll do proper case. So I know the function name is proper case, but I don't remember offhand all of the attributes and the different ways to do it. So this is what I do. This is like peeling back the curtain here a little bit. So a few options. One is this is a fabulous guide written by 2 incredibly talented and amazingly smart people. This is by Elliot Harper, who's at Cloud Kettle, I believe, and then Adam Spriggs, who is at Slalom now, and 2 really amazing, very, very bright, I don't know, engineers, developers on Marketing Cloud, although they definitely do more than that. So you can get something like that. They do have an online guide as well that blows away the Salesforce documentation. And they've done a very nice job of writing that and creating a comprehensive library of all of the different functions and tools, and then also keeping it up to date because it does change over time. So that is an option, and I could definitely pull that up. But what I might do is I might look up proper case AMP script. Okay, and so they've done a nice job on their search engine optimization as well, because the AMP script guide here is the very first one. So we'll go ahead, since I was talking about it, we'll pull it up. And so they do have some examples here in the free version. In the paid version, they have more examples and content as well. But you can see here, so they've got a little AMP script block that they've set up, and I'm going to grab that and pull it out into my example so that we can play with it a little bit. So we'll just paste that in there. And so what they're doing here is they've set a variable with a using @full_name as their variable, and then @full_name proper case, and then they're setting the full name using Adam's favorite, the attribute value function, full name, and that's going to pull the attribute or the data extension column. And in this case, we don't have anything called full name, so I'm going to just update this real quick to be first name. Okay, so we're going to do first name for these, and then we'll do first name proper case, and then we'll update the rest of these accordingly. So we'll do that. We'll update this as well to first name. And so he's got set first name. Oh, I guess as their example, they're setting it to an example there. Let me make this a little bigger. And so now we've got set full name proper case is equal to, and then you see here proper case with the variable in there, which is, again, we need to update that to first name. And you see I've done a terrible job of being consistent with my naming convention here because sometimes it's camel case, sometimes it's not. But for expediency's sake, we'll do this. So now we have the code here has been updated, and so now we've got all of our stuff updated here. And let me just walk you through what this is doing. So, we have a little AMP script block here, and we're missing the first parenthesis, or the first percent sign. So we got %% open bracket, and then %% close bracket. So that's called an AMP script block. That just tells Salesforce Marketing Cloud that everything within that block is code that we don't want to see. We just want it to process. So we've got the variables are being declared here. That's always a good best practice, where we're telling it what we're going to use and setting them to null effectively by declaring them as variables. And then we've got the first name is being set by saying, just look at that first name field. And like I said before, it's going to look at the data extension first. And then if it doesn't see anything there, it's going to look at the attribute. Using the attribute value function call is going to make sure that it also errors properly if it doesn't find the data that it's looking for. So we set that value. So in this case, when it's looking for Aaron, it's going to be all caps as the first name variable. And then we're saying take that variable